Hi, 7th grade. This is Miss Bailey here. I'm just going to go over, in case you missed class today, which is Monday, April 27th, and just going to quickly go over what we did today. So if you go, if you're doing this later time and you go into classwork, and you scroll down and you find the geometry section. That's where all of our stuff from today's lesson is. So geometry, here we go. I'm going to start with the class PowerPoint and open that up to just go over what we talked about. All right, so learning targets, given the definition of a line, line segment, and array, I can correctly identify each of the three concepts. Given a worksheet, I can demonstrate my understanding of lines, line segments, and rays by scoring at least 8 out of 10. Okay, here we go. Our do now was you were supposed to have brought a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper to do this because it's really hard to draw on a computer, and we're doing drawing. And we asked you to start doing this, bringing pens and paper to math class every day or math Zoom every time we do a Zoom. And so you were given 5 lines, and you were supposed to make how many shapes you could. So you're drawing on a piece of paper, so any shape that has 5 lines or less. So a triangle works because that only takes 3 lines. A square works because that only takes 4 lines. And then you're supposed to get creative and make all sorts of different kinds of shapes with 5 lines and see how many different ones you can make. All right, so if you want to try to do that, pause this and just see how many you can think of before continuing. If you got over 10 and you sent a picture to Mr. Jackson, you got a bonus point. Okay, so possible shapes you could make with 5 lines. Triangle I talked about, square, rectangle, and then a pentagon. It kind of looks like a house. A pentagon shape does. Okay, so now we're getting into our new vocabulary for today. A ray. It's a line which starts at a point with given coordinates and goes off in a particular direction to infinity. Possibly through, I need that to go away. Possibly through, I can't see it. We'll hit escape for a second. Possibly through a second point. Okay, so you see array, you see this one, it doesn't have a dot on the end of this one, but you see that it's stopped. There's no arrow. The arrows tell you that it goes on and on and on and on forever and ever and ever. But the dot tells you it stops. And this line that doesn't have an arrow on it, it stops. You can assume it stops. Anyway, so this dot, and then it goes on and on. This like you have to think about this end point of the ray is like the sunshine, and then this is the ray coming off of it. It's just going to keep going and beating on the earth forever and ever and ever. It's just going to keep shining. So that's how you know something is a ray, is if it starts at one spot, like starting at the sun, and then the arrow, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Our next vocabulary is just a line. A line is defined as a line of points that extends infinitely in 2 directions. So we don't actually see the points, but there's like tiny little points, and there's a million of them making up this line. And then there's arrows on the end telling us this goes on and on forever and ever and ever, and this side goes on and on forever and ever and ever. Okay. Our last new vocabulary word is a line segment. A line segment is a part of a line that stops at given points. So A is one point, it stops there, doesn't go on anymore, there's no arrow, it just stops. B is the other end of it, that's the point, and it just stops, it doesn't go on, that's it, it's just A to B. It's like my countertop, it only goes from this side to that side, it doesn't go any further, it just stops. Okay, and that's it for our notes. And then what we did next, if I go back into this geometry section, I want to pull up identifying lines, line segments, and rays. This was the activity you had to do during class, and we went along with it, and we did it kind of together. So we let people do it on a piece of paper and then take a picture and send it to Mr. Jackson or myself, or Miss Gonzalez or Miss Duncan. But another way to do it, if you want to do it this way, is to go up here to these 3 dots, click on the 3 dots, open in a new window. Now, it opened in a new window, but now I need to open it with Google Docs. So if you missed that, pause it, rewind it, go back and watch me do that again if you need to. So now I'm opening it in a Google Doc. Now, I'm going to want to share this with Mr. Jackson if I haven't. Now I don't have to do this because he's already shared it with me, but you won't be able to type in here. So you're going to want to go to File, Make a Copy. I'm going to show that again. You shouldn't be able to type in this document. You're going to need to go to File, Make a Copy. And then it's going to go like this, and then maybe I want to say Miss Bailey, or I want to say Quentin S., or I want to put my name in there so that he knows it's coming from me. I'm going to write Miss Bailey. That's mine. And then I'm going to say okay. And then again, you want to make sure you share this with Mr. Jackson once it loads. So you want to go up here to share, and you want to type in Jackson. See, I know it's showing there already, but okay, Mr. Jackson there. I pick it, and then I just hit send, and it's going to make sure that he gets it. Put my name, Miss Bailey, put the date. Today is /27. If you're doing it another time, that's okay. Okay, learning target. Given a list of assorted questions regarding lines, line segments, and rays, I can identify them by scoring at least 8 out of 10 correctly. Okay, so you're going to go down through these, and you're going to look, and I'm going to see, okay, is this a line segment, or a ray? Again, it has 1 point and 1 arrow. What does that mean? So now if I forgot, you know what I could do? I could go back to the Google Classroom, and I could go to that PowerPoint again, and I could look at it and look at the definition and look at the pictures they showed me to check. So it's got 1 point or 1 dot and 1 arrow. Array. This has 1 point and 1 arrow. Actually, this has 2 points and 1 arrow. A ray is a line which starts at a point and given coordinates goes off in a particular direction towards infinity, possibly through a second point. Possibly, so it doesn't have to have a second point. Okay, I think it's a ray. This has no points that I can see. This says 2 points and no arrows. So it's got to be a ray. So then I could come up here to my thing and I would type in here, ray. It's a ray. I just have to write ray. And then this one, looking at this again, this one's a little tricky. Again, it has a point and then it has an arrow. And it has a point and has another arrow. But these are actually 2 separate rays. Like the sun has multiple rays that come off of it. This is the sun. Here's 1 ray. And here's another ray of sunshine. Again, this is, you could say rays because there's 2. Okay, now this one I've got a point and another point. Okay, if I don't remember, I can go back and find the slides. Okay, that's a ray. This one didn't have any points. A line segment has 2 points and it stops. It stops at the points. It doesn't go on. Okay, then I got to come back to the one with my name in it that I made. This is a line segment. Okay, so then you were going to go through. Okay, this one's tricky. I'll go over this one with you. So this is arrow, this is an arrow, this is an arrow, this is an arrow. I see some letters like they're labeling things, but there's no points really. So this is actually just going to be lines. These are all lines, which I could look back here and I could see on the line slide. It shows defined as a line of points that extends infinitely in 2 directions. They have the arrows. It's just going on and on with the arrows. Okay, and then there's a whole nother page here that you need to fill in and tell me whether you see a line segment, or a ray. Okay, and after you do that, you're going to hit turn in. And then the last thing from today's classwork that you'll see here is this homework. So I'm going to open this up for you and talk through the directions of this. Identifying lines, line segments, and rays. Put your name and date there. Directions. Listed below are pictures of either lines, line segments, or rays. You cannot record your answers on the picture in page 2. All answers should be recorded on page 3. Okay. Learning target. Given various pictures, I can correctly identify whether the picture represents a line segment, or a ray. And I have my definitions again. A line segment is a straight path between 2 points. A line is a straight path that goes on forever in both directions. Array is a straight path that goes on forever in only one direction. Okay, so I go down here. So here's the picture. So 1 shows me the picture, 2, 3, 4. So I can see a picture there. And then I got to go down here and I got to put my answers down here. Okay, so 1. What do I see there? 1, it's got, it's an example. That's not that. It's got 2 points, C and D. They're points, it stops, there's no arrows. That is a line segment. So then I'd come down here and I'd say line segment. Look at this, I'm giving you guys answers. If you watch this, you're going to get some answers. And then number 2, I see X has a dot with no arrow, Y has a dot and then an arrow. So again, it's like the sun. It starts at one point and then its rays of shine come off and it goes on and on forever. So that's a ray. So 2 is a ray. And they're going to keep going back and forth like that, where I scroll up, answer the question, scroll down, type it in there. For questions 9 and 10, answer the following questions by using complete sentences. If they are not answered in complete sentence, you will receive 0 credit. So you're typing a full sentence. What is the difference between a line and an array? What is the difference between a ray and a line segment? So we're typing those in there. Again, if you get confused, he has the definitions up here in the top. Mr. Jackson was really kind and gave those to you, or you could look back, if you want to see the pictures, you can look back at the slides that he has posted. Okay? If you have any questions, always feel free to email me or Mr. Jackson. All right, best of luck.